Morning Uganda.
Good morning. Thank you so much for being with us on UBC TV. Welcome to Good Morning Uganda Extra. I'm Robert Chirabo Nyonyitono. Just 5 minutes past the top of the hour, which is 8 on this lovely Thursday morning. Well, usually Thursdays we focus on issues of security in our country or anything in relation to that. And recently we saw our parliament come up and make stringent laws when it comes to traffic and road safety regulations in this country. Many have welcomed these. However, some have even said, but even what we had could have been good enough had we had effective implementation. Now, joining me on set is Nsereko Rogers Kauma, who happens to be the traffic commandant for Kampala Metropolitan. Sarongo, you're most welcome.
Thank you, Kirabo, and good morning, viewers.
Well, I don't know if you're now very happy or you're at a time where you're even more challenged. You've always talked about we need tougher laws. Then sometimes you've talked about Ugandans, they don't need to be policed. This must be within you. Now with these amendments, where does it place you?
Thank you very much. This amendment, it is a regulation actually. It is not necessarily an amendment. It's a regulation because the minister has powers to put a regulation if he finds it necessary to do that. And the way things are in our country now, you will realize that there's been a lot of indifference by drivers, you get it, because in spite of the fact that we are carrying out all these operations, you still get errant drivers who are careless and they don't really, I don't want to call it giving a damn, but they don't give a damn. And I think some of these penalties were just pocket change to some of them, you get it? So he has his Mercedes, he has his Land Rover, Range Rover, and they're doing their fast cars, and they want really to enjoy their cars. But at the end of the day, speed is a major factor that contributes to some of these dangerous crashes that are killing most of our Ugandans. So on that point of view, I am actually, as a person, me as in Nsereko, I'm happy about that regulation. And it is going to be applied when one is taken to court. Our tickets are going to remain at 200,000 if we get you on the road. But once we take you to court, because we have people who contest these results, we have good technology. Our guns can record the speed at which you are driving, can record the number plate of the vehicle you're driving, what time, which date. So it is very hard for you to say that, no, this was not me. You get it? So, but we still get these cases where people say, no, no, me, that was not my car, what. So in such cases, we shall just produce you in court and the judge or magistrate will decide on your fate. You get it? But, you know, such limits of fines are good. They're punitive enough. Once this regulation was announced that it's going to come, I've heard so many voices. And actually that morning my sister called me and told me, oh my God, I'm going to drive at 20 kilometers per hour. You get it? So meaning it is biting enough. You get it? That's why people are like, making a lot of noise about it for now.
Now, when you look at this regulation, that almost doubles or triples the fine someone has to pay if overspeeding. There is a road I usually take, and I must say, most of the times a victim of speeding. And always sometimes I fail to understand. And for the benefit of our viewers, Afande, yes, you're stopped. And they tell you, but you've been over speeding. Maybe sometimes I don't think you seem like, but a vehicle, you aren't really. Then they tell you, like, look, at this particular road, this is the speed you're supposed to drive at. But we don't have sufficient road furniture.
No, actually, yes, the road furniture is not enough. But where we put our points of speed enforcement, it is usually at a point where ahead, where you're coming from, there's a sign. We don't just mount our checkpoints anyhow. No. We know that at a certain point, there's speed limit 70. So we shall go ahead of that point where the sign is when we are sure you must have seen that signage. You get it. And then we shall deploy ahead of that signage. You get it. We don't usually deploy at places where we are not sure that this is the speed limit of this place. And when you're approaching a town center, we expect you to drive at 30 because now UN is recommending 30 kilometers per hour in built-up areas. You get it. So we are passing on this message all the time and telling people that it was 50 earlier. And for now, when we get you at 50, we can let you go because we know most of them don't know that this information is now the one we are passing on, that people are supposed to maintain 30 kilometers per hour in built-up areas. These are townships along major roads. Too slow. Yeah, it is too slow, but when you knock someone at 30 kilometers per hour,
yeah,
the impact will be will be minimized by a good degree. Yeah. At 50, you can actually kill someone, 50 kilometers per hour. So they're advocating for 30 kilometers per hour. But this is a message that we are still passing on, speed limit 30 kilometers per hour in built-up areas. Yes.
Now that will determine what are built-up areas depending.
Any townships. when you're driving along these highways, you see townships.
Some of the arguments that when we are stopped, someone tells this is a built-up place, but Kachiri, fairly,
Kachiri is built up.
I'm just out of, I found it, but even I've left the trading center a long time ago, and I'm heading.
But when you leave some of these centers, the signages are there. They will say signage saying 50 with parallel lines cutting through the 50. It means that that's the end of that speed limit of 50. So you can increase on the speed a bit.
Well, now that resonates with why you have to go to a driving school. Because there you're able to know these signages, what they mean. You're able to drive, not only thinking of overtaking on the right hand and worrying of other person on the road, but also making use of road furniture. Very few people really read road furniture. That's why all, if they see it, can interpret it.
Well, then that will bring a question on where they went to train their driving from. You get my point? Because if you can't interpret a road sign or road marking, then that means that there's some lack in where you trained from. Because you're supposed to know all these signages. Yes, otherwise, because that's the language of the road, how will you interpret that signages if you don't know them?
Well, very interesting. We are with Rogers Sinsereko, and of course we want to look at traffic and road safety regulations in this country. But importantly, you can have the laws in place. But what is very important is regulation and people appreciating and understanding why you have this regulation. Most of the times I see Uganda police, you're very active to enforce. But
that's
who should do the campaign of ensuring that people understand? For example, you find a border rider. He has a very nice helmet. He has a very nice reflector jacket. He doesn't put them on, but knows at Clock Tower there is this mountain. So what he does, wherever he's coming from, however far it is, he won't put it on. As he approaches police He dresses up everything. Would we say, because he knows that he's going to be arrested, but he's not putting it on for his safety?
Absolutely.
Now, when we tell people don't overspeed because there is a law, and they don't get to understand, when we tell them have these triangular reflectors in case your car breaks down, and someone says, why should I cough with 30, 50,000 and I can get 3 branches? When you tell them, have a seat belt on, and apart from these modern cars that will inconvenience you, but there are those models, they don't make any noise, any alarm. These are things they don't appreciate. Even before you go to enforcement regulation, what have you done to say that people appreciate why they should follow the law?
Well, first of all, our major work is the enforcement of the law as it is. So it is up to you, a citizen of this country, to be within the limits of the law or not. You get it? What we do, we try to do some sensitization in our community policing programs. All the time, we go to borders, we tell them the importance of using a helmet, the importance of wearing a reflector jacket, the importance of having side mirrors on your motorcycle, the importance of driving in safe speeds, the importance of respecting signals on the road. So we'll do all this, but you would expect that the numbers we get on the road in our operations would have reduced by far. You get it? But alas, what is happening is unbelievable. Because even if you went to the road now, border operations are on. Yeah, you will see breakdowns ferrying border borders on a daily. So what does it show? I'm thinking that these are just, I wouldn't want to use harsh words because I would sound a bit rude, but I think people are indifferent, they don't care. I just told one of your colleagues here that if I was a border rider, I wouldn't risk coming to the city with a border without any requirements. You get it? Because now you see police officers are there, you still proceed towards them. You don't have a permit, you don't have a reflector, you don't have a helmet, you don't have PSV certificate on your bike, and you still. I mean, what do you want a police officer to do?
I'll maneuver.
You get it? So it is up to you. You are either within the law or you are out of it. And as police, for us, we are there to enforce the law. We won't want to know your reasons of, oh, you know, I didn't know that the helmet was not needed. I didn't know that a hello, where do you live? Where do you live? Because by the time you get on the road, you know what is needed on the road. You do. So you come, for us, we shall penalize you, and the government will earn from your indifference. Yes, it will earn from you.
That said, if you are enforcing the law to the letter, one, the road carnage would have reduced in our country. I want to believe so. Two, also, people would have what it takes to be on the road. We would see Ugandans learn driving from driving schools. Now, with your mandate of enforcement, where are you failing? Because it seems our road carnage is just growing and increasing. Traffic violations are everywhere. Today, everyone is a VIP. Today, everyone has the right to violate traffic lights. One would even think, when you're on Ugandan roads, you see a lot of lawlessness, and you can think there isn't a police force unless, apart from meeting them in uniform and getting and arresting borders.
Now, I've mentioned this earlier before, I think on this program again. When you are a good citizen, I'm telling you, you ought to know what is required of this country. When you are a good citizen. There are so many citizens in this country who are within the law always. You will never catch them overlapping. You will never catch them, you know, doing all sorts of offenses on the road. Then we have these others who just think that you just wake up and you do as you please. You get it, like we are in a lawless society. I believe most of the people on the road want to be like, I don't know how to use very kind words when I'm touching these matters, because I see a lot of lawlessness on the road. Even people that you would have thought that they knew better, yeah, the things they do on the road, you wonder. You get it? So, at the end of the day, it is yourself as an individual, you get it, to know that I'm supposed to drive in safe speeds. I'm not supposed to inconvenience these people because they're in a queue. I don't need to overlap. You get it? Otherwise, I would have kept time a long time ago if I wanted to keep within the limits of my programs. You get it? You are supposed to be a good citizen for your country to ensure that everything is orderly. But if you are such a respected leader, I will say, and you have no right of way, you are well aware, you have no right of way. You get it? And then you come and start bulldozing everyone off the road. Then, what do you want police to do for you? You get it? Because you are supposed to be our boss. And then you are doing things that are contrary, that are very, very, you know, unbelievable. So, at the end of the day, it is an individual. You've heard of generals. You've heard of some people who keep within the queue. You get, no matter how the lockup is, they keep in the queue, no matter what. And they're bosses. So, what is the difference between that boss and the other? You get my point? So I think we all have to own up. We all have to own up because we all want an organized society.
Now, you've talked about us owning up, personal responsibility, but Afande, allow me reveal this to you, that when there is moral decadency in a nation, as far as Uganda we have gone, now it remains to enforcers to restore sanity and order in society.
But we are doing all we can. We do that on a daily.
But also, there are questions that much as we have good laws, we change regulations here, you the enforcers, one, you're not independent in enforcement. To some, you pay a blind eye like you've not seen. To others, you're quick to enforce. That is why it is very easy to enforce border arrests. I was asking one police officer, that Ofande, that zeal you've used, almost a car to knock you, a vehicle coming, to run and just grab that border person who doesn't have a helmet. I see extra passion, extra commitment that is not normal of police officers. I want to tell you, you change your uniform. I volunteer to drive you around this spot. You look at how your men are so committed, are so passionate, can even lose legs, but to arrest a border man. That passion, that love, that zeal, if it was in every aspect of policing, I want to tell you, Uganda would have been Switzerland. Later to find out that it is not the love for work, it is the power of the pocket.
Oh, sure.
That the police officers themselves with these regulations again fail because of corruption, then fail because of not independent, someone, who is that one, you know? In Uganda, they have a saying that, so those two challenges, no matter how parliament, how the minister comes up with good laws, corruption, to that person will tell us they leave home, I need change. To give police officers. Police officer will tell, that one. And to some, they will even just wave to them. when they're committing an offense. So those two gaps, how do you address them?
Now, the issue of corruption, it has been here, it has been sung like forever. But I'm not hearing any songs of you as an individual, how you are contributing to the vice, or not contributing to the vice, for that matter. Because at the end of the day, you know that corruption is illegal. Why do you part with the money to give to an officer?
So where there is a willing buyer and a willing seller, you shouldn't have a problem.
You remain in your lane of corruption. If you decide to be corrupt, you are corrupting the officer, you are also a corrupt person.
But if the officer is corrupt,
you raise the red flag. Commerce is demanding for money here. Simple as that. But where you sing of corruption and you are just quiet, and you are the people parting with the money, giving the officers.
Because the officers
and then
are so
after that
thirsty.
you come, after removing your
no,
bike,
after
removing your bike, you give the money willingly. You come on the road and then say, oh, police is corrupt. Police, no.
Now,
once you are willing to part with money you give an officer, keep quiet. Just keep quiet.
It takes two to tango. I agree with you.
You just get your red flag and wave it.
Afande.
Yes.
If police officers are incorruptible, then people will know that this is a no-go.
We have cases of incorruptible officers.
But where?
Chirap.
A 70, it is only you who is not corrupt.
No.
Traffic department.
Forget it.
And a few others.
We are quite a number. We are quite
Afande.
a number.
Ugandans today know and believe, and this is the fact of the truth. Go to taxi drivers. Go to these PSV drivers. Go to many Ugandans. Very few traffic officers, and I salute you men and women in uniform who are not corruptible. You're heroes of this generation. But if you are to go to a percentage, a very big percentage of police officers have chosen to be corruptible. There were institutions here where you knew that corruption was the order of the day. Today we hear traders complaining. There's a time when URA people knew that, Miss URA, come with this, bring this. Today, that things have differed. It is hard to corrupt because the institution itself came up with mechanisms, and the people now know that you get a sentence or you won't get your goods. Better pay the service. But for this particular section but for police, it seems it has been normalized.
It's not normalized at all.
In your traffic department?
That's why we have the professional standards unit. You've heard of it?
Oh, I've been there several times. It was last active during the days of Ndungu.
Who tells you? Who tells you?
Because I regularly go there seeking for help.
My God, no.
I usually go there seeking for help.
Maybe that's the last time you went there.
No, not the last time. I remember when it was under, is it called Ndunguse something?
Yeah.
Mission of Police. That gentleman, that unit was very active. Today, go to PSU Bukoto there. There's so much nonsense happening.
No, that is unfair.
Rank and file.
Mr. Kirabo, that is very unfair comment.
I have been there.
Because I know the commandant there is a very sober person, very straight.
Actually, today you rather go to court than wasting time going to
I'm
PSU.
telling you, you can't believe
PSU?
it. I think you've taken a long time without following up on the matters to do with PSU. Oh my God, I'm even surprised.
Oh, I've been there.
There's a lot of work that they're doing for us. When we get cases of a nature, someone has demanded for money, the problem is people report, but then they fail to come back to testify. That's where the cases die from. Because now,
maybe I would excuse
if you report, you're supposed to, he who alleges
must prove.
So you won't just come and report a matter and then you sit back. That matter won't process itself when you are not there.
Because I remember the days I'm talking about, though even last week I was at PSU over some police officers in Ibudo there, some also has become a nuisance. But they would expedite the cases and to be dealt with no matter which rank. Today, either they're having so many cases that they delay to work on them, or something
Mr. Chirabo,
else?
I beg to differ from you, and I'm not buying what you're telling me right now, because I know and they're handling these cases for us. Of corrupt officers, we refer. We try them disciplinarily, or we refer them to PSU, and PSU will investigate and come to a logical conclusion of the matter.
I'll have PSU here soon.
Yes.
For our viewers with my facts, table them, and I'll make sure you watch and see the procedure of PSU investigations. And PSU is another department that I'll have. It will have its fair share of the cake soon. In Good Morning Uganda. Let me continue with the traffic here. Now, you as a director, you have your own disciplinary measures that you've taken regarding corruption. Are there statistics?
Yeah, they are there, because the court sits in Natet, that tries our officers. It sits there. So the cases are profiled, and the record is there at headquarters. The numbers who have been tried, those who have been convicted, those who have been who are not guilty of the case that was reported against them, those are there. So if you want that information, it is there at headquarters, Natet.
Well, our viewers, you can also be part of the topic of discussion. This morning, the number of messages for Mr. Anseleko already here, and that is the number on your screen. Please send me a WhatsApp message or a text message. And let me begin with some of the very interesting ones here. Thank you for the show. Tell Afande that even if they keep arresting borders, nothing will be done if these cyclists are not taught or trained on how to ride on roads. They learned, but they did not know, but they don't know how to ride. That is Godfrey Chirunda, driver with Bella, Uganda. Then we have, what does Afande say about civilians arresting mostly border riders, especially in I think it should be along Chitigum House, Clock Tower, and ShopRite. If I refuse to give away to fake VIPs and they rough me up, can Afande defend me in any way? Good morning, I'm Jessica from Kampala, and I drive heavy trucks in all corners of the country. I want to know who is supposed to stop a truck or a car. Because there is a traffic police that stops, and also the other officer that guards the traffic officer. Does the officer that is not traffic supposed to ask me for my permit? Kindly advise.
Okay.
We first do this very quick.
Yes. I'll begin with the last one. She's a lady truck driver, right? Are they stopping her in a corner? Is that what she said?
No, she's asking, usually in your deployments, there's a traffic officer.
Yes, and a guard.
And a guard.
Yes.
So she's asking who of the two is supposed to stop.
No, the question had some other
no, that's what she says, because good morning, I'm Jessica Walakira from Kampala, and I drive heavy trucks along corners of the country. I want to know all corners of the country. Who is supposed to stop a truck or a car?
That's a traffic officer. The traffic officer is supposed to stop. These guards are guards. They're guarding the traffic officers, because our traffic officers are not armed.
Yes.
You get it? And they've been attacked on the roads because they're not armed. People know they're not armed. They attack them. They intend to knock them. So an order came from the president. He said that every traffic officer should have a guard with them where they are. So, but guards are not supposed to stop vehicles. No. That's why the traffic officer, if he's stopping vehicles and demanding for permits, what's the traffic officer doing?
Then relatedly to that was men in plain clothes. I've also now seen KCCA wardens,
yes,
traffic wardens of KCCA arresting motorcycles.
Now, KCCA, you know, is the lead agency in this city. It has their enforcement team. And I've been here on a program, I remember, and I've talked about those people in civilian clothes arresting borders. And we said, we don't work with civilians to do police work. We don't do that. And I've even sent a message earlier to our commanders, and I've told them that this habit of using civilians to impound motorcycles is not allowed. Any commander who's working with those civilians should explain, but we have a problem that no one comes up to report. These things come up here when we are in these programs. But no one will come and say that my border has been impounded and brought here by a civilian. You get it? So we want to know, who are those civilians? Whom are they working with in this operation? Because this operation has to be a police-led operation. Officers who are working are supposed to be police officers in uniform. In uniform. The rest, because people are being, their borders are being impounded, and then people are extorting from them. You get it? They're extorting from them, but you don't even know the person. You are giving the money. You get it? So what are you doing? You rather give the money to a one Kauma and Sereko. You get it? So, because you know the person who you've given the money. So you will say, I've been impounded here, and Kauma and Sereko has taken money from me. But if you, Chirabo, you come and impound someone's motorcycle, then you demand for money, then this one parts with the money. Whom shall he say that I gave this money to? You won't have.
Well, let's continue looking at the messages. Then, good morning, Chirabo. I want to pay my ticket, but the PRN expired. Can't process the payment.
Let him come, let him go to any police station and demand for a replacement ticket.
Okay.
It is as simple as that.
Good morning and thanks for the service. Oyo fisa alimba. Basajja be webagala weba kuba ekikwekweto. Okugeza ku Mityana Road, okuva Ebuloba, waliwo road block, but after the road broke, like 500 meters, webategera speed camera zaabwe. I swear, tewali yadde speed limit sign post yonna mu Bukenya.
Alimba. Tewali kulimba. First of all, ffe twagala okuteeka ekikwekweto we tukiteeka. Yes, we shall mount a block where we want to operate from. We shall not first announce that, oh, you know what, we are going to do this. No, we don't do that. We put our snap check somewhere, and we shall enforce what we want for that day. Maybe permits, maybe EPS defaulters, and we shall be doing that. But if you are driving, because we know in a built-up area, there might not be a signpost. But we expect you to be in limits of 50. But remember, I'm saying 30. They are revised to 30 kilometers per hour. For now, 50 will let you pass, because we know the information for 30 has not yet been disseminated properly. You get it? So when we are in a town area, for us, we know if you come at 100 in a township, there's no signpost, but we shall penalize you for that.
Okay.
Yes.
Then someone says, I appreciate your sensible message, Afande. Teach the country. My only piece of reaction is let's embark on rallying, sensitizing to border operators, because they still remain a bigger problem in major townships and city centers. Wish to see you back again. Mukuru. Okay, moving on. There is one who said if he's arrested for not giving way to fake VIPs, would you help?
That one I will stand with you 100%, whoever wrote that one. Because I even tell people that if someone has no right of way, you get it. We have so many big people in this country. But those with the right of way are very few. You get it? So if it's not the president, it's not the speaker, it's not the chief justice, it's not the police vehicle in an emergency situation, it's not an army vehicle in an emergency situation, it's not a fire brigade, it's not an ambulance. The rest, you stand your ground and face each other. Back there. And we shall see what they are allowed to do to you. Yes. Mia will protect that person. Because unless when they decide to amend the law to include each and everybody.
Okay.
That when you say a member of parliament, you give
Another
way.
One,
when you see Kauma Sereko, you give way. When you see, you know, what will become of this city?
Okay.
What will become of
Chirabo,
this city?
has that officer ever traveled in public transport? Mainly in taxi. Tell him to travel in a taxi and see what is happening on roads. If not, let him try in civilian clothes and move in these private. They don't know how heavy corruption is. Captain Chitaka Mayanja from Chiboga. Thank you, Captain Chitaka Mayanja, for watching. Well, the messages seem to be flowing in so much. Afande, thank you for your presentation. However, I would like to confess that the police on the roads are not there to enforce safety regulations for road users. Just 1,000 shillings is enough to buy your way, even if the road user breaks the law. Failure to give, you are issued with a receipt as a fine. What does this mean as per your defense of corruption by your police officers? Charles Ranga or Wana in Gulu.
Now, I cannot defend a police officer over corruption. That can never happen. But what I'm saying, why are you parting with your money to give to the officers? You get my point? That is not allowed. Why are you allowing it? Why are you permitting it to happen? You get it? And I've traveled in public transport before, even today. Sometimes I jump on a taxi. Sometimes I use a bus when I'm going up country. You get it? It's not always that I'll be in my vehicle. No.
But there's also saying that a police officer, actually it's even one of the messages here, says that it is hard for a police officer to stop you and find nothing in case you're driving.
Absolutely,
the car
absolutely, absolutely.
Therefore, you rather give them money
there has to
and
be
save
something.
your time.
No, but it is wrong. You know, that is the connotation that I don't agree
when
with.
Kauman Sereko wakes up and says, today I need 50,000, and he's a traffic officer, he simply has to position himself with his guard and a few others. He will look for any mistake around the vehicle.
Of course that will happen.
He won't fail to get anything.
Let me tell you.
So if I'm coming to do Good Morning Uganda, I have a show, and maybe I woke up a bit late, rather saving time, let him stop me. Good morning, Afande. Why did they breakfast? Afande can then call and quit.
Now, one, I will say the same thing over and over again. Don't part with money to give officers. Simple as that. Simple as that. Because wherever I go for this, oh, you know, corruption, it is always there. But just know, corrupt people are everywhere. I don't think they will ever be, we shall be obsolete of corrupt people. They will always be there. But what do you do as a person to try to change the cycle? You change the cycle. If it's going like this, make it turn around to face the other way around. But lamenting and lamenting won't help us. Because I've grown to this level, I'm now an old man. You get it? I've had this song like for,
and actually out of
from
my
when I was very young.
My 103 messages, I think about 90% are on corruption.
Yeah.
So in case I don't read out your message, it is all about corruption, corruption, corruption.
Yes.
And the police force. I'm trying to look for something slightly different from that. Thanks for the show. You'll be still a Funday that even if they keep, okay, then as times we must now, let me wind up with summarizing similar messages and bring out. One, a number of our viewers have talked about the current border exercise, where one said that it's now any police officer at any place can simply decide and begin impounding borders as long as there is jam. Is it an authorized operation or any police officer
now, let me
can
be
wake
clear
up and decide that?
Let me be clear about that operation. Any operation has to have a commander there, the one overseeing the operation. We have cases of officers who have done that, who just wake up, put on uniform and go on the road, impound vehicles or motorcycles. You get, without any command. You demand for the commander of that operation, even where these civilians are operating from. Who's commanding them? Because the commander has to own up on that operation that is taking place in his area. You get it? So, you need to be also steady, better steady, or oberenga, or demanding, who is the commander here? Who is commanding this operation? A commander is known. There can't be an operation where a commander is not known. So you demand for the commander. If he's there, they point to you that the commander is right there. You can talk to him. That is this endorsed by you? Because in such a manner, you are also helping us. Because sometimes we are engaged with so many things, so many activities. So we can't be everywhere all the time. So when you help us in that kind of way, through that commander, we need to know, what is he doing? Is he the one permitting this lawlessness of officers and civilians to operate under his watch? Because he needs to own up and answer some of these things. Yes.
Okay, so I think that is sorted. Border, let's raise a case regarding that. Then also a number of messages coming in. Where do we report? Because most of the times, it seems these are working together. That is Mukasa. Josephat.
I think I've already answered that. The
Criteria.
commander
You report
is
to
there.
the commander of the operation.
Yeah. If he's the one who is overseeing such activities taking place under his watch.
Then,
without a commander, please, you fight for yourself. Unless when the commander is knowing what is happening.
and that's
But
what-
without that, that any officer just wakes up, and we have an officer who came from up country, he got pass leave, he came here, put on uniform, went and impounded a certain motorcycle, and disappeared with a motorcycle. Till date, we don't know where that officer is, with someone's motorcycle. You get it? Can you imagine? But if the commander is there, and he knows the people who are operating with him, then that will be a different case altogether.
A very interesting one, but we must end the show. I'm Martin from Lugazi. I'm wondering whether the traffic police officers themselves have driving permits. One day, I was between two trucks, and the one behind started guzzling. One overtook, and an officer had charged me. Okay, he's trying to say that he felt he was doing the right thing, but ended up being charged. But let's conclude with that.
I didn't get that.
Well, this
point
one wonders
clearly.
how the traffic officer, when they are carrying out their work, he sees as a professional driver, respecting the road signs and doing the right thing on the road. How on earth a police officer then charged him of an offense he felt it wasn't?
Unfortunately, the offense he was charged of is not mentioned. So I don't know what he wants to know. I wish he had indicated that he was charged of maybe overlapping, maybe overtaking in a place where you're not supposed to overtake from, something like that. But otherwise, if he does not indicate, then I don't know how to respond to that.
So let me have your parting shot regarding this regulation and, of course, how best we can reduce.
For the regulation, I wouldn't want to comment about it right now because it still has some other processes it has to go through. But me, I want to comment about Namugongo that is coming up. I'm very saddened that you didn't mention about it. You know, it is a very busy day. And I'm calling upon all Ugandans to please, especially people around Namugongo area, to respect the plan that we are going to put in place and let it work for all of us for ease of your movement as road users and also for the successful operation of that event in Namugongo. So we are coming up with programs. Please, we're going to pass them over to you, and we pray that you respect them because it's just a short day. It's just like from 3 in the morning, that's when we are going to start diverting our vehicles, and then up to something like 4 there, we shall open up for normal traffic flow. So for now, that's what I want to inform so that I prepare the people, especially residents, because there's so much inconvenience during Namugongo celebrations. Otherwise, I wish you well, and I wish you safety on our roads.
Well, one thing I can assure you, like we've always done and do, we have Kawuma Sereko on that day or prior to that day. He's with us here, and we give out what we call the security and traffic guidelines for Namugongo. And I hope when you call upon you, do the usual.
You're welcome.
Well, thank you so much for your time, and
Yes.
thank you so much those that have sent us messages and wherever you're watching from. I'll leave you with Ruben to take you through the world of sports. See you in the next hour. Good morning.
Live from